Okay, let me ask you something. What if you could get back 10 hours every single week? I know, it sounds like a fantasy, right? But it's not. It's the real power of automation. And in this explainer, we're going to break down how simple tech, I'm talking not complex code, can help you reclaim your most valuable resource, your time. When you hear that word automation, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Does your mind immediately jump to, complicated code, technical stuff, and just a massive headache? If it does, you are definitely not alone, right? That thought right there, that is the single biggest myth holding people back from automation. It feels like this giant, intimidating mountain you have to climb. But honestly, the reality is so much simpler. And this isn't some wild exaggeration. Our goal here is to give you a really clear path to saving 5, maybe 10, or heck, even more hours every single week. This is not about learning some new super complex skill. It's about reclaiming the time you already have. So let's start with section 1, the time-saving myth. We're going to bust this thing wide open right now. Let's just be crystal clear about our goal today. This is not about you becoming some kind of tech wizard. The real secret here is setting up simple systems one time, systems that pay you back with free time forever. So where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with a simple time audit. Because to find the opportunities for automation, first you've got to find where your time is actually going, your biggest time drains. So the process here is super simple, seriously. Just grab a notepad or open a doc, and for the next minute or so, I want you to just jot down the top 5 repetitive tasks you do every week. You know the ones. They're valuable, sure, but they follow the exact same pattern every single time. That's where the gold is. Now, your list probably has tasks that fall into a couple of main buckets. First, you've got content and communication, things like writing social media captions or summarizing your client notes. And second, there's all that admin work, like scheduling or banging out those follow-up emails. Any of these, they're perfect candidates for your first big automation win. All right, you've got your list. Now it's time to find what I call your freedom wins. We're basically looking for the low-hanging fruit, the easiest tasks to automate that will give you the biggest chunk of time back. So for example, imagine you write one blog post, just one. You can actually feed that single document to an AI and have it instantly spit out 5 unique, ready-to-go social media captions. The creative heavy lifting? Done in seconds. Or think about your meeting notes. Instead of spending all that time trying to decipher what you wrote and summarize it, an AI can transcribe your entire conversation and instantly pull out the key takeaways and the action items, just like that. And this is what that difference looks like in practice. A task that used to eat up, say, 30 minutes of your manual work becomes a quick 2-minute review. Now multiply that saving across your entire week, and the impact is absolutely enormous. You can even automate follow-up emails. Just imagine, a single click creates a draft, and boom, the client's name and all the key details are already filled in. All you have to do is add your own personal touch and hit send. So look back at that list you made. Go on, look at it. Which one of these examples really jumped out at you? Circle that task. Right there. That's your starting point. That is your first win. Okay, so how does all this magic actually work? Well, the engine behind every single automation, no matter how powerful it seems, is a remarkably simple recipe. It's called if-then logic. And I'm going to say it again, this has nothing to do with code. It's all about connecting the dots between the apps you're already using. Think of tools like Zapier or IFTT. They make your tools talk to each other, so you don't have to be the manual messenger running back and forth between them anymore. Let's put that logic into action. It's really just 2 parts. First, you have the trigger, if this happens. So a specific event occurs. Then you have the action. Then do that. That's the task that gets performed. So, for example, if you add a new card to a Trello board, that's your trigger. Then an AI automatically writes a social media post about it. That's your action. See? Trigger and action. That is the entire recipe. It's that simple. Okay, you've seen the potential. You understand the logic. Now it's time to go out and claim your first win. This is where all this theory becomes your new reality. So here is your homework, your challenge. Set up just one, simple automation this week. Take that task you circled earlier and just find a way to automate it. Look, even if it isn't perfect, just getting that first one up and running is a massive victory. So I'll ask you, what's the one thing you are now genuinely excited to automate? Pinpoint that task, because committing to it right now is the first real step toward getting that thing off your plate for good. Because, in the end, this isn't really about saving a few minutes here and there. It's about removing the boring, mundane stuff to create space for the magic, the high-impact, strategic work that only you can do. Now, go reclaim your time.